Thank you for joining my channel today. And this episode is going to be about JetBlue, the pros and the cons. Hey there, this is Suzette and I'm redefining my 60s on my own terms. Thank you for joining my channel today, and this episode is going to be about JetBlue, the pros and the cons. So, if you've watched my previous two episodes, the first one I did on San Juan, right? And then I did another regarding Frontier Airlines. Oh, I'm sorry. I did one on Kiwi.com, which is an OTA. Then I did one on Frontier Airlines. And today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons, which really are my experience in flying JetBlue. And I have to say, I had never flown JetBlue before, but I absolutely loved it. I loved flying JetBlue. I truly, truly, truly did. The planes were modern. They were sleek. The technology was on point. The USB port was reachable, easy to identify, so you could plug your cell phone or your electronic device in. Oh my God. The seats were comfortable. The leg room was good. There were monitors on the back of the seats in front of you, and everything that you needed to know you could just access by tapping it on the monitor. I loved it. And I don't know whether it was a credit to the pilot, to the plane, or both. But I'm telling you, it was like we were gliding. Not flying, but gliding. Our flight was as smooth as butter. And even when the pilot warned us that the air might be a little bumpy on the descent, it still was absolutely a great ride. I did not get scared. I wasn't concerned. It was absolutely wonderful. So I had to start out with that. Some other cons is the flight was on time. Now you're going to see me look down because I have my trusty tablet here. I jotted down notes because I didn't want to forget what I experienced, the pros and the cons. So I didn't want to forget anything. So here we go. The flight was on time. We chose to take a red eye from San Juan back here to North Carolina. And it was on time. We started boarding on time, everything. That was super great. I already talked about the seats were comfortable. We flew core preferred economy. The seats were fine, plenty of leg room, comfortable seats. It was really good. I love the fact that my storage bin for my carry-on luggage was right above my head. I loved that. The pilot and staff were very friendly. I talked about the monitors and everything. Expedited security was an option. I liked that, which was great, given the fact that when we were leaving San Juan, one of the things that I had already been cautioned about, because I had been in some different travel groups and so forth, was as soon as you enter the airlines, go to the USDA checkpoint first before going through security. And I was glad that I did it. I entered. There was a security person, somebody there to help. and I was able to ask her, where is the USDA security checkpoint? She pointed me to it. I was able to get there. My luggage went through without fail. And listen, one of the things too that I want to also add is every piece of luggage, whether it's your personal item, your carry-on, the baggage you're going to check, everything has to go through the USDA checkpoint. Everything. So I did that, no problems there. I was able to retrieve my luggage, go on to the TSA area. And because I had expedited security, I didn't have to be in that super long line. Our line was much, much shorter. So I was really glad of that. As a matter of fact, too, you didn't have to go through as much rigor. I walked up to the TSA or the security checker, whoever that person is. I looked in the monitor, the little camera thing. They compared my face to my license, and they sent me right on through. Of course, you still have to take off your shoes and do all that, but it was expedited. We didn't have to wait in long, long lines. I loved that. And JetBlue offered that. Frontier did not. If they did, I don't know if it was so pricey, I said, forget this. But I love that JetBlue did offer that as an option. And it was only, at the time, it was only $10 per person. So I was really glad about that. Oh, yeah. The flight arrived to Raleigh, Durham 10 minutes early. 10 minutes early. So that was good. I love that the plane was a nice size plane. I remember the first time I got in one of those smaller planes, I really was having to deal with some claustrophobia. It just felt too tight. But because I had paid for that plane ticket, I knew I was just going to have to just, suck it up, navigate my way to my seat and sit down. But I liked that the plane size was comfortable. It wasn't too small. It wasn't too large. So I would say it was a mid-sized plane. Very, very comfortable walking up. I didn't feel like I was entering a submarine. So that was really good for me. I like the fact that different from Frontier, both my husband and I were under one travel code. It wasn't separate travel codes. And if you want to know more about that, make sure you watch the episode that I did on Frontier Airlines. And that'll go into more detail. But I like the fact that we were both booked under one airline code. We were able to check our baggage and select our seats at the time of check-in. I like that. That was what I was used to. And I like the fact I was able to get all that done at one time. I like the fact that JetBlue did not nickel and dime in the same way that I found that Frontier did. However, I don't want to get to the however yet. That'll be in the cons. But I did like that fact. I like that baggage check. The fee for that was not expensive at all. I don't want to say what the amount is without checking to be sure. But, I have it here in my notes. It was only $45 for the first bag. And that was great. That was great. So it was $45 for my bag and $45 for my husband's bag. So $90 got both of our bags checked. And that was really, really good. The personal bag and the carry-on were already included in my airline price. I like that. I like that. So there wasn't a separate fee for your carry-on and another fee for your checked baggage. The personal item and the carry-on were included. That was concluded in the flight cost. The additional fee for the checked baggage was only $45 for the first piece of baggage, which is all we had. So that was very good. Now to cons. Now, the boarding order felt off. We were row 8, right? And despite us being on row 8, we were with the last group boarding the aircraft. And because we were with the last group boarding the aircraft, I was afraid that there was not going to be adequate storage space in the bin above where I was sitting. Fortunately, there was, but there was that fear that I was going to get on with the last group and there was not going to be adequate storage space and my bags were going to be way down toward the back of the plane. And I didn't want that because there were some things I wanted to be able to retrieve out of my carry-on. So it being above my head was very important to me. Fortunately, it still was right above my head, but I didn't understand how we were on row 8 from the front and were with the last group to board. That didn't make sense to me. So I did not like that. Another thing, we had difficulties figuring out how to access the free Wi-Fi. It's called Fly-Fi, which is really a cute name, right? Fly-Fi. But it was difficult to figure out how to access it. I tried first with the instructions through my cell phone, right, through the app, but it wasn't working. It wasn't until I found it on the monitor that I was able to go through the steps and it worked. I would have liked for it to be seamless regardless of whether you went through the monitor on the seats, whether you went through the app or not, or whether you Googled it, and found it that way. Whatever way your entry point was, I feel like it all should have been seamless so it didn't, and not confusing. And I found that it was confusing. What I had on my app was confusing. And it wasn't until I accessed it on the monitors that I was able to access the free Wi-Fi. Once I accessed it, it was absolutely fine, but it was very confusing in the beginning to figure out how to access it. So that was a con. It took several attempts before I finally went on the monitor. I was checking the monitor for something completely different, and I saw it, and I said, okay, I'm going to try one more time. And that time it worked. So that was really good. Another con was the seats did not recline much. They did recline, but they didn't recline much. And another con was I was sitting on the aisle seat. So the arm was down and I was able to push mine and my seat reclined. My husband, who had his arm was up, he had not pulled it down. So he was just sitting there going, these seats don't recline. And I said, well, mine reclines. He said, mine doesn't. I said, there's nothing for you to push or anything? He said, no, my seat doesn't recline. And it just so happened, I happened to kind of look, as I was looking around to see if there was a button or something, I saw that his armrest was pushed up. So when he pulled his armrest down, he was able to push the button on the side of the armrest and he reclined. However, it wasn't as deep of a recline as I expected. It was just a subtle recline. So it wasn't really enough for you to really kind of, feel like you were really resting. He still looked uncomfortable, even though his seat was reclined. So I didn't like that. And the last thing was, I didn't like the big price jump from core preferred seating to the even more space seating option. With JetBlue, you had the economy seating, which was core. Then you had core preferred, which was an upgrade. And then the ultimate upgrade was even more space. And the even more space was kind of like tantamount to business class, right? It was their best seat option. Well, I got core preferred because Fortunately, I didn't get the even more space option because I would have had too much leg room. The Core Preferred was sufficient leg room, very comfortable, very comfortable. The person in front of us could have reclined their seat and it would not have bothered me at all. Okay, so, but here's the difference in the price. My Core Preferred seating row, okay, you had the aisle, middle, and window seats, right? And so my aisle seat was $33. The window seat was $31. Either that or vice versa. I think I'm doing it in the right order. If not, you'll see corrections. I'll have the correction on this video. But the middle seat was $24. Okay. I did not like the price jump to sit in the even more space seats toward the front of the plane was $68. That was a big price jump from even the most expensive Core Preferred seat. I didn't like that. Now, in the economy or the Core, the seats were $24. They were $24. No matter whether you sat, no matter where you sat, I think they all were $24. I'll go back and check it, but I think they all were $24. But that big jump was a lot. So those are the things, the pros and the cons that I experienced flying JetBlue. If you like what I'm sharing, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I check the comments myself, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye now.